Okay, we'll talk about Zanshin homework. And this is something that really is important to do if you want to improve your Zanshin. And we're talking about Zanshin, or the physical manifestation of Zanshin, i.e. being a nice long low posture like this. Zanshin actually, there's a lot more to it than the posture. But for today's purposes, we're only going to address the posture, okay? Now, what people normally do is they normally finish their throw or their technique maybe like this, which is too high, too short. It means minimal power. And if we think about power when we throw, if we stand in Kamae, which we talked about last week, where the weight distribution is 60-40, our central of gravity is roughly where the cross is. If I had a cross step forward into another 60-40, then my central of gravity is now here. And so we have a distance where our central of gravity is trapped over the mat about this much. So the power we get is in relation to the distance our central of gravity is trapped over the mat. So therefore, if I want more power, my centre of mass needs to go forward more. Which is why, if we go from a 60-40 here into a nice long low 80-20, my central gravity is tracked a long way now. So I get an awful lot more power. Okay? So people don't do that because it hurts the front thigh. And so what they do is they practice time and time again, throwing, finishing here, too high, too short. And obviously, if that's what you're going to practice, if that's what you do repeatedly, when you're under stress, that's what you'll reproduce. So when you're doing your test, that's what you're going to do, which is not what we want. So in other words, we become really good at the thing we do the most. So we need to spend more time in correct Zanshin posture. So back to the homework. If you're watching TV at home or anything like that, put 2 marks on the carpet or the floor about 3 feet apart. When the adverts come on, stick one toe on one of the marks, the other toe on the other, bend the front knee, lean forward, lock out the back leg, and hold this for as long as you can. It won't be very long at first, but you will get better at it. But the more time you spend in good long low posture like this, the more likely it is to reproduce it under test conditions. Okay? Yes. Now then, it's very important with this posture to make sure that your foot placement is correct. You want the back toes pointing forward. We don't want to the side like this, because what can happen here, the blade of the foot comes off the floor, and also the back leg can start to bend. This is not what we want. We want the toes forward, and that will roll the blade into the back of the mat, and it'll also lock the knee out. Everything nice and square, a nice straight line down the back, and that's the posture that we need to practice. Okay? That's the Zanshin form. Now, I've given people this homework to do before, and some people have done it, some people have not. And I think you did it, because I saw a change in what you did. So if you do this, and it's your choice, you will get better. Okay, Zanshin form, good. Right, pairs, go. People back to the windows, drop down into that nice long low posture. And people standing opposite, I'd like you to check their posture. Make sure the foot placement is correct. Make sure the knee is properly forward. Make sure the back is straight. Shouldn't be convex or concave. Shoulders down. You should not be able to lift the back foot off the floor. It shouldn't necessarily be impossible, but it should be quite difficult. If it easily comes off the floor, that's not quite right. Now, if you put your fist on behind your partner's knee and just gently press, it should be fairly firm and locked. Push that knee forward. Okay. Right. Okay, Yame. Good. Stay up. All right, good.